Good evening and welcome to tonight's presentation. Today we will be discussing workplace health and safety within the castle. Keeping a clean castle environment is the focus of today's seminar. First off, we'll start with a brief overview of the topics that we will be discussing. First, we will be talking about food storage, and secondly, we will be talking about food cleanup, and then we will talk about food procurement. We will finish this off with a brief discussion of the workplace standards that we will be holding you to from this point going forward, and we will wrap things up with a brief conclusion about what we will have learned. I want you to bring your attention over here to figure 1, this right here. This is not okay. As you can see, there is food on tables and food just thrown all over the floor. So first we will be discussing food storage. Now, the proper procedures for food storage must be observed. Do not leave food on tables, especially in the upper levels of the castle. Keep all meals in the eating area. This is the City of the Damned, or the dungeons in the Undercroft. Brotherhood and other trespassers in the castle are an exception. You may eat those where you find them. Here is an example of waste disposal done properly in the City of the Damned. Next, we're going to talk about food cleanup. This has been a big issue and has raised several complaints. Use the provided food disposal methods. The jailers, the lava pits, werewolves, and scavens are all viable options. Do not throw uneaten food into the Forbidden Wing, or you will be thrown into the Forbidden Wing. Here is an example of a skaven. They are one of the most efficient methods for food disposal. Next, we will be discussing food procurement. Do not take food from allied villages. Recently, we have begun trade agreements with some human villages near the castle. Do not take food from them. Acceptable food sources are shown below. Bandits, Brotherhood and other enemy parties, traded goods, trespassers, and losers of the Tournament of Flesh amongst the jailers in the Undercroft. An example here on the right is an example of an acceptable food source. This is a Brotherhood Paladin. They are crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Now we're going to talk about workplace standards. These are things that we need to keep in mind while going throughout our day and our night. First off, hygiene. All surfaces, especially in the upper levels, must be kept clean. This means no blood on everything and no old food flying out. This also helps with odor management. There have been several complaints from people and species that have a higher sense of smell. Yes, werewolf, we got your complaints. Please stop sending them. Conduct. There is a dress code in place for a reason. Do not run around the castle nude. If you have any questions, please see your manager or your supervisor. And finally, appearances. This ties back into food storage. We need to keep the upper levels tidy, especially for visitors and guests of the castle. We do not want to leave a bad impression. Please bring your attention to figure 5. This is what the hallways in the upper levels should look like as an example. It should be clean, clear of food, so you know what to do. Now, in conclusion, keep in mind the proper procedures for food storage, food cleanup, and food procurement. That way we can keep our workplace standards high. Infractions will be heavily frowned upon, and please bring your attention to figure 6 for an example of being frowned at. That would be bad. So, thank you for attending this evening's presentation. Please adhere to all workplace standards going forwards from now. Thank you, and good night.